All right, got a cocktail party coming up on Saturday. Georgia, Florida, annual rivalry game played in Jacksonville every year around Halloween, just like it is this year. Happy Halloween, by the way. Today's Friday as I'm recording this video. Hope everybody has a safe and happy Halloween. There's being too much made of this game with Billy Napier being fired and the new coach in there. And, oh, my God, Georgia's not going to know what to expect. And Florida's going to come out with all these offensive surprises that nobody's ever seen before. Georgia's just a better team. It's that simple. Billy Napier got fired because he's not a good coach. That's true. But Georgia's got better coaches and better players. Georgia should win this game. I'm having a hard time really understanding where a lot of the sort of pro-Florida stuff this week is coming from. I understand sort of the UCLA approach to this game. Like, look, UCLA fired their coach. They got a new play caller, and they beat Penn State. Yeah, that's true. That did happen. UCLA was an absolute disaster. They fired their coach, promoted a guy to an interim. He hires a new offensive coordinator. UCLA beats Penn State. Well, Penn State is a puddle. They're not good. They've also fired their coach. That's not Georgia. And it's there's a little bit too much being made of the UCLA thing, to be honest. You can't really completely change your offense in a week or even 2 weeks with a bye week. Now, what does change and what will change, I think, for Florida offensively is like the situational play calling. Every coach has tendencies. So on 3rd and 7, what were Billy Napier's tendencies? What plays did he like to call on 3rd and 7? Well, that's out the window. You got a different guy calling plays now. So I do think there will be an adjustment period in this game for Georgia on the defensive side of the ball as they sort of work to figure out, exactly what kind of rhythm is it that the Florida coaching staff is trying to establish offensively on the other side of the ball there. The problem for Florida is even if Florida is successful in the first half of this game, it takes Georgia by surprise, runs plays maybe Georgia's not expecting and down in distances that they're not expecting them to run them, things like that. That happens to Georgia in every game. Have you watched any Georgia games for the last 2 years? They're behind at halftime every single game, all but 2 or 3 games in the last 2 seasons. They're a second half team. So even if that's the sort of idea that you're banking on as a Florida guy, well, we catch them by surprise. They don't know what we're going to do, that kind of thing. That's not going to phase Georgia. Georgia could go to halftime of this game down 10. It wouldn't phase them at all. They'd come out to start the third quarter 100% expecting to win the game because that's what they normally do. Now, with that being said, I'm not convinced that's going to happen. I don't think Florida's going to come out like some magic potion offensively and look like some kind of juggernaut. DJ Lagway's thrown 9 interceptions this year. Gunnar Stockton has thrown 1. Georgia has a better offense than Florida. Georgia has a better defense than Florida. They've got better players than Florida. They've got better coaches than Florida. Kirby Smart went to Georgia, played at Georgia. He understands this rivalry. He does a great job of passing that down to the players and making sure they understand the importance of this rivalry. Not only this rivalry, but all of Georgia's rivals, the Auburn game, the Georgia Tech game. Just look at Kirby's record against those 3 teams, and it speaks for itself. Georgia's favored by 7.5. They could win this game by 2 or 3 scores. There's a lot of talk in the offseason about this game last year from Florida fans and how they had a lead in the first quarter or had a lead at halftime or what were tied in the fourth quarter or whatever it was. Georgia turned the ball over 3 or 4 times last year and still beat you by 2 scores. So if you're banking on that happening again, then I guess there's a possibility Florida keeps this thing close into the second half, but it's more likely that Florida turns the ball over. Georgia has not turned the ball over this year. They had a couple of fumbles. Gunner with 1 interception. Florida, DJ Lagway, 9 interceptions. It's much more likely Lagway and Florida turn the ball over in this game than it is Georgia. It's turnovers are not really a stat you can count on or bank on. And again, you go back to last year. Yes, the game was close at halftime. Yes, the game was close at a point in the fourth quarter. Georgia turned the ball over 3 or 4 times and won by 2 scores. It wasn't a close game. I don't think it'll be a close game this year. I've listened to everybody and their brother talk about this game, and they're just making this huge deal about Florida having a new play caller. And I get it. I agree. I do think that defensively, Georgia's going to have to do some sort of learning on the fly there in the first half. Coaches study other coaches' tendencies. And right now, there are no tendencies to study for Florida offensively because Billy Napier was the play caller and head coach, and he's fired and he's gone. So you've got a new head coach and a new play caller. So yeah, I get that. I just don't see where it's going to make that much of a difference in this game. Definitely not enough of a difference for Florida to win this game. I think Georgia wins and covers. Georgia struggled to cover the spread early in the season, but they've covered the spread the last 3 games against Auburn, Kentucky, and Ole Miss. And I think they keep it rolling here. Both teams should be healthier. No team is 100% healthy this late into the season, but both teams coming off of a bye week. Georgia should get some players back, maybe along the offensive line. Florida get some of their defensive guys back. I just don't think Florida can compete with Georgia. And until I see them do it, I can't pick them to win or come close in this game. I think Georgia wins and Georgia covers. Give me Georgia -7.5. All right, appreciate you watching. Have a good morning.